The Minister for Employment Affairs and Social Protection, Regina Doherty, she's told the Dáil she'll bring forward proposals for changes to the COVID-19 pandemic unemployment payment within the next week or so. The Minister said that the payment and the wage subsidy schemes will extend beyond June, but questions have been raised as to how long the government can sustain the level of these payments. Now, earlier, Pat McDonagh, businessman and owner of Supermacs, spoke to Sarah McInerney about how the payment was providing a disincentive to some of his employees to return to work.
Where we have a mother and son working for us, he's a student, he worked 8 hours a week and he got somewhere between probably 80 and 100 euros. She was full-time and both qualified for the 350 COVID payment. Now, I felt, and I do feel, that the mother would be entitled to get a bit more than the son, who was, as I say, only worked one shift a week, but he got equally 350 euro. Now, there's no incentive for him to come back to work, because he's on a winner. He's won the lotto. Therefore, it's difficult to convince him to come back to work, because why would he bother coming back to work when he can sit at home and get 350 into his account every week?
Now I'm joined by John Douglas, the General Secretary of Mandate. John Douglas, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Now, does this COVID payment need some tweaking at this stage to try and iron out some anomalies that it contains?
No, I don't believe so. I believe it's fair. I believe it's done with the best of intentions. I believe there's no one sitting at home believing they've won the lotto on 350 euros a week. I'm not too sure what lotto Mr. McDonagh does, but I'd like to win the lotto. I want to win more than 350 euros a week. Most people want to get back to work. Most people want to get back to normality. Most people want their lives back, both socially and economically. And to target, small minority, maybe, students, whoever he targeted, it's extremely unfair. And the real problem here is that there's 200,000 workers in Ireland existing on low pay, not taking home more than 350 euros a week in 2020. It's an absolute scandal. And this economy has been based, and we've been saying it for years, it's been based on low pay and precarious type contracts. And the chickens are coming home to roost now. And I think it's a bit rich of Pat McDonagh and other people to be calling for this matter to be reduced. And it will be resisted by the trade union movement.
What he actually said was he'd like to see the mother who works full-time get more in her COVID payment.
But the student...
But hold on a second now. A student who worked an 8-hour shift, one shift a week, and was earning, I think he said, around 100 euro, is now getting the 350 COVID payment as well. Yeah. And is now, let's park the old thing about being at home and winning the lotto and all that sort of stuff. But is it fair that the full-time, a full-time person gets 350 and a part-timer who is a student also gets 350? Can the taxpayer, can the state continue to do that?
Somebody who was earning 1,000 euros a week is getting 350. Is it fair on them?
Absolutely.
Are you going to tweak it upwards and downwards? I mean, the system's not perfect.
Isn't that the question? This is a blunt instrument that was brought in at this.
Well, it's a blunt instrument, but it was brought in for reasons. People could not be left high and dry, be they students, be they mothers, be they fathers, be they higher paid or lower paid. It was brought in with the best of intentions to sustain the economy. People are not sitting home as if they won the lotto. And I think it's unfair to target groups, be they mothers, be they fathers, be they the unemployed, be they students, to target them as somehow a problem.
Okay.
Sitting at home, enjoying the sun, not wanting to go to work.
Okay, so
it's not happening.
So what do we do? Do we continue to pay the COVID payment for how long?
We're going to have to pay it as long as necessary. And I know that's a very, off-the-cuff remark, but we're going to have to pay it as long as necessary. This economy is in difficulty, right? There are some employers that are in difficulty. There are employers who can't open their premises. I have a lot of members working in retail who want to go back to work, but their employers can't open their shops. I have a lot of members working in the bar trade who are, dying to get back to work but can't get back to work because their publicans can't open their pubs. Yeah. So it's unfair in isolation, to pick out one group and target them. This economy is going to have to be supported. This society is going to have to be supported. Employers are going to have to be be
it's a lot of money, people, John Douglas, and where is the money going to come from?
Listen,
can we continue?
A pity Pat McDonagh didn't ask that question back when we're bailing out the banks for 64 billion.
Well,
let me finish now for a second, because there is a history here of employers in the service sector challenging decent wages. They challenged the JLC system many years back about 5 or 6 years back and brought it down. A system which gave workers decent wages, decent overtime, decent Sunday premiums, decent pensions.
And you have a lot of issues, and I take your point about low wages and all of that, but I'm talking about a kind of a narrow focus here at the moment, because it was a blunt instrument. It was brought in at the start of March when everything closed down, and it was the government decision, the right thing to do. Everybody agrees, but it's how long we can continue to do it. Where is the money going to continue to come from, John Douglas?
Listen, I don't know, and that's been totally honest with you. The only place the money eventually is going to come from is we get the economy up and running again. And the way to get the economy up and running again is to open up businesses, to get money in people's pockets, to get consumer spending again, and to get normality back. Now, I don't have a magic wand. You don't have a magic wand. Pat McDonagh doesn't have a magic wand. Employers don't have a magic wand.
No, but just saying... No, you hold on. Just saying it has to continue as long as it has to continue isn't really an answer either. It has to be backed up by numbers. Where's the money going to come from? How are we going to continue to borrow?
We're subsidising employers with wage subsidies of millions and millions a week. There's no one calling for a halt to that.
But it wasn't the point behind... Do you not support the point behind that, which was hoping to keep employees connected to the employer so that when they open up again, they can get back to work?
I absolutely do, but that is a state subsidy, whether you like it or not. It's a state subsidy. And where's that money going to come from?
Well, we can ask the question about all of the subsidies that are being paid at the moment.
So why take out a student?
Well, I'm asking you about the COVID payment, not one student. We did pay the clip, but, let's talk about it in a broader context. Can we continue to pay the COVID payment? The ESRI is saying no immediate change to the payment, but it did say today the economy is going to contract, I think, by between 9 and 12%. And unemployment could reach up to 17%.
Yeah. And, I mean, unfortunately, that might be the sad reality. But this payment will have to be paid as long as necessary.
Will it be this payment, or do you see it happening? Payment. Yeah, but will the COVID payment be moved to a type of job seekers allowance?
Well, I think that would be a wrong move. I generally might think that would be an unfair move. You're targeting, whether you want me to say it or not, you're targeting a narrow section of the workforce and you're penalising them. That's what you're doing. You're picking on the low paid again, the people on precarious type contracts through no fault of their own, who are on low wages. I would like to think that everyone in Ireland could earn a net take-home pay of more than 350. The reality is this economy is based on low pay.
As more and more of this economy opens up, what's your own assessment of, how many of your members, and your members, I think it's been particularly badly hit here.
Absolutely.
How many of them are going to get their jobs back?
Well, we've already had to follow with Debenhams over, 1,500 jobs gone in Debenhams. We have the warehouse, Oasis. We have the bar trade still locked down for the foreseeable future. We have many smaller retailers who can't open in little hardware shops or boutiques. It's extremely difficult, and, social distancing, and does it work in small shops, big shops? People want to get back to the business. Businessmen and women want to get back to business. Workers want to get back to work. And, trying to be divisive, instead of all working together, try and create a set of circumstances where we can all get back to work, start generating economic activity, generating tax revenue that can go back into the coffers to try and fill the hole that's obviously flowing out, the water that's flowing out.
And I'm sure you'll welcome this, a positive, as a follow-on to that discussion on the pandemic payment. It's just been announced a proposal is going to go to Cabinet tomorrow to end the exclusion of women returning from maternity leave from the temporary wage scheme.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that was a scrimmage, I believe, from the start, and we actually campaigned on that, and I think that's an important idea. It's a good move, and it's to be welcomed.
All right. John Douglas of Mandate, thank you very much. It's 10 minutes to 5. We'll take a break.